place like that where you have like auctions and things like that and cash, the mafia is involved, the Yakuza. And so there's a big Yakuza presence just in the neighboring village of Taiji, which would make me think they probably have their fingers in the dolphin export business as well.
Yakuza?
Yakuza, that's the Japanese mafia. They're the ones the
Yakuza.
Japanese guys full body tattoos.
Okay.
Like
Have you guys?
IG, you go to any hotel, like they're all built on what's called an onsen, which is like a natural hot spring. Every hotel there is built on top of one, and there's like you go down this room and sit in the spring, but they all have signs like no tattoos. Which I even have tattoos, a couple, and I get problems. They're clearly I'm not Yakuza, but those signs are meant for Yakuza. They don't want the mafia guys hanging out in the steam rooms.
Really?
They're everywhere down there. You see them everywhere.
Have you guys had any run-ins with those guys personally?
Not Yakuza, so to speak, but they have an ultra right wing there, which would be like our version of like, like maybe like the Proud Boys or like neo-Nazis that hang out or like that. They're like that. And they even dress similar. They'll dress in like high watered pants that are really tight with a button down shirt, shaved head, like skinheads that kind of dress up. And they show up and they're prone to violence, and they'll do the kind of stuff like one thing they do all the time is they drive with a truck with like a speaker on the top that looks like it's from like the 60s, like a giant bell, like the most massive speaker you ever seen on the roof of their van.
Yeah.
And if we're there and they'll just go back and forth in front of our hotel for like 20 hours a day, like as loud as they can, like go home, oh Barry, like shouting threats and like.
Wow.
When The Cove was shown for like a week in just a couple theaters in Japan, they found out who the mother is of the owner of the distributor that bought The Cove, and they went to her house and surrounded it and banged on all the doors and windows and like shook her house.
It was a distributor. The company that.
But when The Cove came out, this distributor in Japan bought the rights to The Cove, and it only showed for like a week in like 2 theaters. But they went and like threatened his family with violence.
Wow, that is insane.
So whether that they're doing it on their own, or whether that they're just an arm of a bigger operation, a Yakuza operation that's telling that they're the arm that goes out and handles shit like that, stuff like that. Like I don't.
Right.
You see it there. It's not. It's not something I'm making up. The mafia is a clear presence down there.
Mm-hmm. Now, does the whale meat in Japan from all the whales they catch, does that have high levels of mercury like dolphin too?
Yes.
Okay.
And that you'll find, like when you go to Tokyo, you'll find specialty restaurants that, maybe a few in Tokyo, specialty places where you can buy whale meat.
Mm-hmm.
And in Taiji, of course, where the dolphin hunt is, there's tons of places there that specialize it. And in fact, you'll see tour buses coming every week filled with old people that are taking a specific like whale eating tour from a neighboring big city. They'll come 6 hours by bus to go to 3 different restaurants that specialize in whale meat and sushi and stuff like that. Because they have some connection to it, because after the war, that's what they had to eat. And, so they had this connection. So it's really an older generation. On its own, whaling would die out. Like whaling is completely subsidized by the government. It loses so much, I think $40 million or something it loses every year. And the government puts money into it to prop it up. And what it is, you said is, they blame overfishing on the dolphins. It's pest control. It's, there's plenty of dolphins, whatever excuse, because those excuses always change. What it really boils down to is whaling is kind of the last vestige. And it's like, it's their final thing of like, we're our own, because after the war, we basically, the United States, we ran Japan. We told them, you can't have an army. You can't do this. This is how you're going to have to now live and to be part of the society. Because they were outcasts after World War II. And so it's one of the last like things they're holding on to. Like, no one's going to tell us to stop doing this. Because none of it makes sense. The whole whaling thing that they have to put money into it. No one's eating it.
Right.
They put it into schools to try to get young kids interested in it. And, fact, it's full of mercury. Every part of it is bad. And this last stubborn vestige of imperial big United States isn't going to tell us what